The year is 2001. Counter-Strike 1.3 is taking the world by storm, and I was just a mere 14-year-old boy at secondary school. When I say Counter-Strike was taking the world by storm, I really mean it. I unfairly blame that game for going ungraded in my IT lessons. Yes, in IT, we were all playing CS. Picture this. Break at school was finishing. The next lesson was in the newly created IT block. Normally, you wouldn't find me rushing to learn French or math. But IT, well, that was a different kettle of fish entirely. You see, we would rub up against the other ending lessons of the previous class to get in there and load up Counter-Strike as soon as we could before the teacher would even enter the room. Normally, a clueless substitute teacher would then arrive. We lucked out. My whole last year of IT was either with no-show substitute teachers or some greenhorn coming in and getting no real answers to what page were you guys on in the last lesson, kids. I think they secretly knew. God bless them for ignoring us passing around that one fabled CD to every PC in the class. Because if you remember, if you loaded the game up with the CD, you could take it out and then continue playing as long as you didn't close the game, while your mate also loaded up his game right next to you. And if you were fortunate enough to have secured yourself a CD key, you could play on the internet. But this was LAN. We're talking local area network, and this was epic. The new IT block at our school had good infrastructure, and there was never any lag. You could get swept up in the game so hard, but you always had your peripheral vision active, watching the heads of your friends sitting next to you for any turn of theirs or sound of the teacher coming, because if you were in the middle, then the guy next to you, closest to the teacher, would quickly alt-tab his window back to the work, and just like that, everyone's screens would change in an instant. I bet the teachers back then found it actually kind of funny. There's no way they knew we weren't playing the game soundlessly. Either that, or they thought we were really fucking hard on their assignment. Oh, I don't think there's a chance, not a chance of that. So, finish school, and I'd be running home to get back to my console and play more video games. I had a PS2, and eventually, I sold it to my neighbor for the same price I'd bought it about a half a year beforehand. If I recall, it was about 440 with controllers he bought it from me for. But why did I sell my console? Well, see, up to this point, I was getting home, and my mother was a web designer taking advantage of the dot-com boom. And she wouldn't always be at home when I got there. So you know what young Ark was doing. He was making Americans lose their absolute shit, lagging around on Counter-Strike with about 150 ping, absolutely destroying them with a silenced M4A1 and a couple flashbangs on USP. My excuse? Oh, I was using my mum's computer to do my homework because only her PC had an active version of Microsoft Word. So, of course I needed that, right? And thankfully, her computer could run CS. Not the greatest, but it could. So, I had a hunger to have my own PC that really could. And after selling my PS2, I bought my first PC. I remember it well. It was a composite of greys and blues, and it was really rounded. It was a Hewlett-Packard. And I had one of those massive CRT monitors. I think it was like a 17-inch. And it even had a fan that would actually activate if it got too hard. When you booted that thing up, your ears would actually hear supersonic and hypersonic sounds as it literally settled into the picture. It was amazing. That thing was a beast on my desk. I would actually be fighting. My keyboard and my mouse would be fighting for any sort of position on the desk with that thing. And I spent thousands of hours in front of it. And I don't mean a couple, I mean tens of thousands of hours. Before any Steam came alive by Valve and started logging the hours, I had already sunk thousands of hours into it. I really wish I could know how many. In those days, I was excited to play games, you can tell, right? I would run home to play them, and you couldn't pull me away. In some ways, and it's still quite true, possibly kind of sad, it's still the same. But lately, games have been a little bit lame. I can only put it down to the original pioneers of gaming being passionate, and how the industry has essentially industrialized and people make it their careers, not so much their passions to make games. And that's what it feels like to me. It feels like people are going in to a career not because they love it, but because they know that they can do it and they can make money from it. But I think gaming is probably the least industrialized industry out there in that regard. But it still feels like that. Because, you know, the original Unreal Tournament, Quake 3, Aliens vs Predator Gold, all the way to AVP 2 Primal Hunt expansion, Half-Life, Counter-Strike, Halo 1, KKND, Ground Control, Dark Reign, Giants, Citizen Kabuto, Neverwinter Nights. I had the hots for these games. My one friend had a powerful desktop computer with an AMD Radeon 9800 graphics card. And we would rally at his house to see him play the games we loved on really good quality. Oh yeah, he used to play Morrowind, Elder Scrolls Morrowind on there, and it was so incredible to see. Like the water physics, oh my god dude, it blew my mind back then. We barely even take notice of it these days. We would put our PCs in the back of our parents' cars, unload them at our friend's house, and stay as long as our parents would let us, playing day in, day out, or after our adventures during the day. And then we kind of got a little bit more savvy. We bought laptops to make that transition easier, because we were now starting to travel by ourselves, and we'd end up at the front doors of our mates with Ethernet cables in our hands and broad grins across our faces. When I look back at them, they just seem like past lives I've already lived in some sort of other parallel reality, with so many memories so lovingly burned into my cerebral cortex. So gaming had a slump. You know, the two closest games I've had recently that gave me some sort of giddiness to play them like that, discounting CSGO, were probably PUBG and Star Citizen. The latter being a game I play religiously on my Twitch stream, Arc VR. So okay, now you have the context. We're talking about 24 plus years of hardcore gaming here. Modern, competitive games, not Pong, not Pac-Man, not Donkey Kong. Modern hit scan style shooters with a lot of trash talk and a lot of aggression. I love the Star Citizen project, and I have done as best as I can to champion its gunplay and the CQB shooter experience, not just flying ships. Star Citizen allows you to punch a dude in the face while he's flying the ship. It allows you to throw a grenade into a room full of people on a luxury like space yacht, then teabag their corpses after looting them if you so like. It's epic. And it's the best thing since sliced bread. But its flow is not quite there yet. It needs a few more years to crystallize. That's where the finals comes in. I became aware of it many months ago, but I saw it was unplayable. I didn't see anybody streaming it, and it may have been Dr. Disrespect who highlighted it to me, and I couldn't understand from what I was seeing that nobody else wasn't playing it, and I realized it had only done private play sessions amongst big content creators, and one closed beta to lucky gamers. So I said to myself, next closed beta, I want fucking in. And true enough, I got in. The second closed beta was incredible. I enjoyed it so much, I made a video, I streamed it 3 times, even though my computer was crashing because of the heat. I don't know what's going on there, but I got to figure that out. It's so hot right now in this summer. But what I didn't realize is I enjoyed it way more than I realized at the time. because now it's gone. Gotta be honest with you guys, I'm gonna level with you a little bit. I'm a bit out of sorts. And I've been looking through Discord groups, Reddit posts, YouTube comments, and I've noticed something seriously strange. It seems like I'm not the only one feeling like this. The finals is a phenomena of modern gaming, and everything that I have seen come out of Embark Studios has been frankly incredible, masterful, oozing with passion. It's empowering. It's empowering to play. And I realized something. It was like an epiphany while writing this script, actually. This is what games are meant to be like. This is clearly a studio of passionate developers who are putting absolute quality into the world, and I think so many gamers, including myself lately, have been missing this joie de vivre, this je ne sais quoi, the zeal, the fizz, the pop, the love of a game for a long time. This game doesn't feel like it ships simply required features from a studio with employees who've all quietly quit at their desks. There is a positive buzz with this project, the finals, and I'm here for it. As a now 36-year-old boomer who makes profit from playing video games as a side hustle, I feel like I'm going to be running home again like that little kid I was 24 or so years ago to play this game in a rush. Gamers, dudes, everybody, buckle in, buckle up. Gaming isn't dead yet.